everyone, and welcome to the Cosmic Perspective. I know it has been a while, and I have not been very good about recording these this month. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about why that is the case, because it has been frustrating for me, hopefully as much as it's been frustrating for you listeners, if anybody even cares that I haven't posted anything. But yeah, so I've been kind of dealing with a little bit of depression, man, a little bit of just not feeling like I'm living my purpose, and it's been bringing me down, and in my day-to-day, I'm not feeling like I'm fulfilling that, and it's frustrating. It's genuinely frustrating. I've just not felt like I've had time, and honestly, I had a stretch where Joey had another show. I don't remember if I've talked about this. It's been so long since that last podcast. But Joey had a show, and in order for me to go to that show, I had to switch shifts. And then I ended up working 6 days in a row. And that, I can tell you, is brutal. 6 days in a row, and then you get 1 day off. And then you got to work another few days before then you get the next day off. So it was a long stretch. And that was the reason why I didn't post one week. And then I honestly don't have a good reason on why I didn't post it last week. So that's just me being, I guess, lazy or not coordinating anything. But it's been tough, man. It's been tough. I've only got a couple days that I can really do it, and I didn't really think about who I wanted to invite, so I didn't really plan one. But I knew I needed to release another episode this month because only releasing one in the whole month is pretty bad. This is something that I like doing, and I enjoy doing it, and I need to find more time to doing it. But yeah, I want to talk about depression, because for me, when I feel most depressed, it's because I'm not connected to what I believe is my purpose or my higher calling, the thing that really drives me. And when I'm not connected to that, and I don't feel like I'm doing it, and it doesn't have to be a particular activity. In this case, I'm not referring to like any creative endeavor of any kind. I really just mean like feeling like I'm making a difference in other people's lives, or feeling like I'm making a difference in my own life. When you feel like you're just kind of going through the motions, sometimes I feel like a robot, where I'm just going through it, like I clock in, I clock out, and then I go to sleep, and then that's it. And and maybe I squeeze in the gym, and then what? That's not life. That's not living. That's not what I want to do. And yet here I am finding myself in that loop. And I had to hit, a point of a bottom, so to speak, but not like it's not like fucking, drugged out in an alleyway bottom, but for me, like a mental bottom of like, damn, what the fuck am I doing? Because I moved here to pursue the dream and to like try to do something. And right now, I don't feel like I'm doing that. Right now, I feel like I'm just like working my job, and that's it. And that job, to be fair, although it's a good job and I am appreciative of it, is really not that fulfilling. It is fulfilling sometimes, but it's not super fulfilling. And so it is, it's a bit of a point of frustration for me, where I feel like I'm spending, most of my week, 40 hours a week, doing something that doesn't really make me feel that fulfilled. And then in my free time, part of it is me being lazy. Part of it is me just being drained from the day. And I'm not tapping into the creative forces, the things that I know do give me fulfillment. And it's just not happening. And it sucks. It sucks. And sometimes, it limits you too. Like, you're not seeing people that you should be seeing. You're not hanging out. You're not even present when you're there. You feel like a shell of yourself. And to some degree, I've kind of felt like that. I feel a lot better now than I did earlier this month, but that is what I've been going through for these past few weeks. So it's been kind of hard for me to really find my purpose in my daily activities. But it's not all bad. Right. And sometimes knowing is like the first step to doing something about it. And so I'm trying to do that. I still have not been able to find a flow because my schedule is so random that I can't ever seem to fucking get a flow. It's like I start doing something and I can do it for a couple days, and then like my schedule makes it weird, and then I can't do it at the same time, or I can't keep the consistency, and then it throws me off, and then I'm like right back into a fucking bad loop. So I still have not really figured out an answer to that, but I'm working on it. I'm human. It happens. But I feel like connecting to your purpose is like something that society as a whole, it doesn't do, like what we're tasked with doing on a day-to-day basis is working a job that may or may not be fulfilling to you. And you're making money for a company that may or may not actually be helping the world. And then you're getting your paycheck, which is probably not enough to pay your bills. And then you go home and you're supposed to sleep and then mind numb yourself with television and then go right back into the loop. And I can't live that life. I just can't do it. It kills me to do that. And I've always wanted to be my own boss, but I'm not in a position where I can do that yet. And I know that. And so the smart version of me is like, well, you got to keep working because how else are you going to pay the bills? You don't want to get yourself in a ton of debt, blah, 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 blah. But it's not feeding my soul. And so I look for feeding my soul in a lot of things. I look for it in meditation. I look for it in psychedelics. I look for it in marijuana. And you're not going to find it there. You can catch glimpses of those things, with those things, but it's not really going to give it to you. The only way to do it is to find it in your life, to find the meaningful relationships that you come across, and to, water the garden, so to speak, and like make sure to keep that cultivated. To find activities that make you feel good and make you feel happy. I mean, isn't the point of happiness not to be happy all the time, but to find fulfillment and pleasure in the things that you are doing when you have the choice to do them? We all are going to do things that we are forced to do, that we don't really want to do, but we know we have to do them. And that's fine. I've accepted that. But sometimes I feel like I'm not spending my free time doing the things that I want to do. And it's not because I don't want to do it. It's just that I become like almost crippled. Like where I try to sit down. I set out to like sit down and do something. And then I stare at the fucking screen for like 20 minutes. And then I'm like, fuck, I can't do it. And I know that that's the resistance winning. And for those of you who don't know what the resistance is, it's from a book called The War of Art. Not The Art of War, but The War of Art. And he describes the resistance. And honestly, I probably need to revisit that book because it's really good. And it's a short book, and it's a book that honestly you can just flip to any page on any given time and you'll be able to relate to one of the pages. They're very short little things. The resistance is winning. It is beating me right now. It will not win the war, but God damn it, is it winning the battle? And this is kind of like the struggle phase of the flow state for me, which makes sense because I was in a flow state for like a couple months of like doing a lot of writing. And so it's not surprising that I would hit a wall where it's not that I cannot write, but it's that I am losing the will to. And I know it's not a permanent feeling, but it certainly is something where I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. But it's fucking life, man. Shit ain't just roses. Sometimes we're going to have to go through some tough times. And all in all, like, my life is still good, but that doesn't mean I'm happy. And that's the funny paradox of being a human being, is that you can have a lot of things that on paper seem like they are great. And it's not that they're not great or contributing to your life in some meaningful way, but that doesn't mean that you're not still missing something. And sometimes it could be your feeling of missing something, and your need to seek out the answer might end up creating a problem where there actually isn't one. And part of me thinks that part of my problem is that I'm not 100% sure. I really don't fully know why I feel the way that I do. I'm trying to figure it out, but I don't know. But if I had to guess, the fact that I'm always looking for something to improve, which is a normally good quality is, I think at this point, becoming a bit of a detriment because it's making me look in what I have and not appreciating it and looking for, well, what can I fix? What can I look to change? And I heard that on a podcast. It was an Aubrey Marcus podcast. I can't remember who the woman was, but it was a recent one. And she talked about that, how she had the same problem where she was always looking for an answer like, oh, this will be the next thing that'll fix me. This will be, and man, do I fucking do that sometimes. I don't do it all the time, but I definitely do it sometimes where I'm always looking for that next thing that's going to make me feel better. And it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. But, I'm fucking human. It's just part of being a fucking person. And sometimes being a person can be tough. And when you think about your existence a lot, you think about your place in the universe, and then you realize that the things that you're doing are not that, it's, of course, going to make you not feel good, right? There's a lot of people who are fucking in autopilot, and they don't even think about it. And in some moments, I envy them. In others, I don't, because I know that I'm on a more fulfilling journey that will give me higher highs, but also certainly lower lows. You kind of feel more when you're more in tune and connected with yourself and the place around you and the people around you. But it sucks. It sucks when you're in it. And I definitely feel like I'm in a bit of that rut. And although I think I'm on the upwards trend from this point forward, I still have really not figured it out. And I'm still trying to. I don't mean to bring it fucking down. Let's talk about some fun shit. But that's just honestly how I'm feeling. Like, I just want to be fucking real with you guys because that's why I haven't been putting out an episode. And I know that part of me feeling that way is probably because I'm not putting out episodes. When I do these podcasts, I feel good. It makes me feel better, about like what I'm doing. And although the podcast to me has never been a main show, it's not like I'm not thinking that this is like, oh, the podcast is what's going to get me to be where I want to. Like, no, the podcast is something that I enjoy doing and that I want to continue doing as I grow and develop as like an influencer, as an influential person. But this is just like a platform where I can be real with people and just be like, hey, this is what it is. This is how I'm feeling, or I talk with cool conversations with interesting people. That's what this is all about. I'm not in this for money or anything like that. There's not a lot of money in podcasting. So I'm thinking, my main stage is going to be putting out video content of some kind, whether it's a television show, a movie, sketches on the internet, whatever it may be. That's really what I plan on driving it. And my problem is I don't feel like I have time. And then when I do have time, guess what? It's on a fucking Wednesday or something. Or it's on a day where it's like, well, yeah, you're free, but the people who you want to be your actors in this sketch, yeah, they're not free. The people you want to hold the camera, yeah, they're not free. They work 9 to 5 during the week, and they're only free on the weekends. Well, guess what? You work every fucking weekend. You work every Saturday and Sunday. And not only do you work every Saturday and Sunday, you work the entire fucking day of the day. So there's no fucking time for it. And that's how I'm feeling right now, where I'm like, it's not that I don't want to do these things. It's that I legitimately cannot do them because of the hours and trying to coordinate with other people. And that's kind of driving me a little insane. But I know that I could figure out a solution. But I'm beginning to think I'm not going to be able to figure that out while also committing 40 hours of my week every time. So I'm definitely debating going part-time. I just worry about the lack of money in that regard. How much is enough to get me by? I don't need a lot of luxurious things, but I need enough to still be able to pay my bills. And I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of monthly bills, man. I got student loans. I got bills to pay, and things to take care of. So it's just it's a tough spot that I find myself in. But it's not unsolvable. And there are much worse problems. So I always try to remind myself of that, not to invalidate my own problems, because my problems are very real to me and they are just as valid as anyone else's problems. But I do want to remind myself that I am still pretty blessed in the scheme of things, even if sometimes I don't feel like it. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to be real with you guys. I don't really even want to take too much of your time. I do want to talk about a couple things that aren't super depressing, because I just spent this whole time being fucking depressed here. I have been listening to the J-Rock album. Super good. I really like it. Troopers, Out of Sight, Out of Mind, Tap Out, the WoW freestyle, Redemption featuring SZA. Those are probably my favorites. I also really like the Nas album. I mean, to some degree, with it being Nas, like, do you expect it to be a little bit better? Like, yeah, maybe a little bit, but it's still good. Like, the production's still really solid. Kanye's just killing it as always. Man, dude, you know, slavery's a choice, doesn't matter anymore, does it? I guess. Just that's what Joey was saying to me the other day. It was like, yeah, if you just keep putting out content, people will forget about the shit you say, and it's kind of sad that that's how true it is. I don't even know if he's ever officially apologized for that, other than he mentioned it on a song. And then the Kid Cudi Kanye project is just pretty fucking dope too. I've been really digging, like, Fourth Dimension's really good, Cudi Montage, Reborn, Fire. I like all of those songs. So definitely fucking spend some time with those albums. I know I'm a little late to the party, but I started listening to the Rae Sremmurd album. And there's definitely some good tracks on there. You know what they're going to bring you. I'm not like looking for something like Nas would drop, in their type of music, but it's still got some pretty solid production on it. Catchy hooks, which is what I look for when I'm listening to Rae Sremmurd. Eardrummers backwards. But yeah, there's a lot of good music coming out. I think Drake's dropping an album real soon. Supposedly a double album, R&B and rap. Very curious to see how that turns out. Boy, did he take the fucking L. Boy, did he take the L. But he got his W against Meek Mill, so can't win them all, man. Can't win them all. Especially when you're at the top like that, people are going to keep taking shots at you. Still listening to the Ye album, even since I last talked about it. Still really like that project. It's a good time to be in hip hop, Oh, and I almost forgot. XXXTentacion, or however the fuck you say it. I never really listened to his music, I'm gonna be honest. I really never listened to it. A couple of my friends were like big fans of it. And anytime somebody just gets fucking shot, you just can't feel good about it. You just can't. And was this dude not the greatest guy? Yeah, it seems like it. I would say, I don't want to like convict the dude because he's not here to fucking defend himself anymore. And we really don't know with he said, she said stuff. But some of the shit she described, like with the fork and the vagina, like, man, you just can't think that was completely made up. But still sucks. No one should just get shot in their fucking car like that. And then whoever's the asshole that fucking videotaped it, man, fuck you, dude. Like, is nothing sacred anymore? Like, people can't just die, in peace. Like, you gotta fucking film it on YouTube. Shit like that, it depresses the fuck out of me. I'm not gonna lie. Because it just makes you just wonder, like, really, is this what our culture has, like, pushed ourselves to? That, like, everything's a fucking spectacle? And then it's just like everything you say, fucking anything I've said on these podcasts can now be taken completely out of context and used against me for whatever the fuck they want, just to make me a villain, because it'll suit the narrative that they're trying to tell. And that's frustrating. But I guess my hope with the podcast is that I put out so much stuff that you can't deny who I am when you really look at all the evidence. And do I expect all the people to look at all the evidence? Of course not. There's a lot of dumbass people that are going to just like make conclusions from a couple fucking sentences I might say just to be funny or whatever. But fuck that, man. Fuck that. We got to stop. We got to stop doing this. We got to just stop like bullying people on the internet. We got to stop trying to get people fired from their fucking jobs just because they said something. Like, whatever happened to making a mistake and growing from it? You know what I mean? Like, isn't that the whole fucking point? Life is a series of decisions that inevitably a lot of them are going to be mistakes. And we learn from those mistakes and we grow from them and we become better people because of them. And if now everything is so permanent that even though you've long grown from a particular situation, that you now have to pay for it forever because people are always going to remember that recording of whatever you said or that video of that thing. And that's fucked up to me. You know, we can't be a society where we never forget somebody's mistakes, you know, because I think sometimes it's useful to forget. I don't know. It to me, it's just frustrating because I can just see where we're going with that, and it's not a good direction so far. And it feels like society is ripping apart at the seams. And I'm sure everyone who's ever lived in every time period before this has said the same shit. But something feels different this time. And I think it's because of the internet and our ability to connect and spread information. I don't think we're in the same period that we've been in for the last several thousand years. This period that we're in, we genuinely can make or break our society. I really think we're at this this crucial stage in development where we are going to either transcend and become much better than we are now, or we are going to implode. And are we all going to get wiped out in that circumstance? Probably not. I would say it's very difficult to mass extinct the whole planet. But at the same time, the planet will fight back. The planet is an organism, and as a large organism, it will make corrections for things that are going out of hand. And although it seems like we have all the power and that we're able to pollute whatever we want and do all this shit, it's gonna push back in a major way if we don't fix our mistakes. And it's sad to see that as a society, we aren't really pushing it and we aren't really trying to fix it in any major way. We're making little things here and there, and, you know, we really only need a couple really inventive people to come up with some technology and solutions that are creative and inventive and that can hopefully, you know, I guess go back on some of the mistakes that we've made when it comes to like polluting and not taking care of the planet. But there is going to be a point of no return. There is going to be a point where it's going to be too late and the things are too big. It's too much bigger than us and we're not going to be able to do anything. And I worry about that because I'm like, I don't want this shit to happen in my lifetime. I don't know about you guys. I don't want the fucking Walking Dead. I don't want to have to like worry about fucking people just murdering each other all the time because there's no laws anymore and society completely breaks down and like there's no more grocery stores. You got to fucking grow your own food and defend your fucking neighborhood from outside bandits because it's a lawless land. And it's scary to think of how quickly that can change because I recently watched the Stanford Prison Experiment. It's like a movie on Netflix about the real experiment. And it makes you realize, like, even just playing pretend, these people can be cruel as fuck. And it's like, it didn't take very many days for people to start mentally breaking down from the environment. And that's scary. That shows you how easily we are manipulated. And on a massive scale, shit could really go down. I don't know. I think about that a lot, and not in like a conspiratorial way, that just like legitimately like, well, if we just keep neglecting the poorest people, like, what do you think these motherfuckers are going to do? When you have nothing left to lose, when you have nothing left to live for, you will do some shit that you would never believe that you can do. We all have the shadow inside us. We all have this fucking vicious person that is capable of ruthless things because that is what we needed to survive. And that is still in our DNA. Even if our society doesn't, you know, push us to that limit all the time. But sometimes it does. And the more that we keep having this added pressure where we're giving people these bullshit jobs and we're not paying them any money and we're like they're going through these fucking loops where they don't feel fulfilled and they wonder why they're depressed. You wonder why most people are on fucking antidepressants in this country? It's because look at our world. It's not fun to live in this world. It's not. It's fun for the few people who've got a lot of money. That's really what it comes down to. And you can find ways to have fun in your existence, you know, as long as you're making at least enough money. But all in all, I would say the majority of people right now are living unfulfilled lives, unawakened, you know, loss of potential Sims. I mean, I really see a lot of people's lives as like Sims, that they're just like on autopilot. They're just being told, you know, where to go and what to do. And that's fine, you know, for some people that want to be told what to do. But then let's tell them good shit. You know, if we're going to have people just blindly do whatever the fuck you want them to do, can we at least make it so it makes society better? Because right now we're not. It feels like we're not even trying. And that frustrates me a lot. Because I see it in people who I'm like, these are good people, and they're not being given a real chance. And that's depressing to me, because I'm not looking for equal outcome. People deserve what they put in, you know, what they want to get out of it. But I am looking for equal opportunity, and right now it's not. We have the illusion of equal opportunity, but it is not equal opportunity. Some people are fucked from birth, just completely fucked. There's no way that they can get out of it, no matter how much. They could be a fucking superhero, but if you grow up in a certain part of the hood, if all of your friends are doing something and your family's doing something and your parents are drug addicts, like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to know right from wrong? You're not. You're a kid. How can you know as a kid? And then what are we teaching in these schools? We're not teaching people how to be people. We're teaching people how to be fucking factory workers. We're teaching people how to fucking memorize shit. That's not learning. Learning is like thinking, like critically thinking about something, taking in information, finding inventive ways to repurpose that information for new methods, new ideas, and we're not doing that. Why? Why are we not doing it? We have the internet. There's literally no reason why, but we aren't. And I don't even think it's like some active, like somebody's trying to keep us from doing. I don't even think it's like that. I think it's like, hey, we got a lot of money invested in keeping this system the way it is, so we ain't going to change it. And that's what I think it is. I really don't think it's like some fucking evil people in a smoke-filled back room just saying like, yeah, let's keep the people ignorant and dumb. And, you know, maybe to some degree there are some people that genuinely are like that, but I think a lot of it is systems in place that are designed to not change. And those systems we need to break. And we can fucking break these systems. I believe that we can smash these systems into a million fucking pieces with this internet. I really do. We don't need systems anymore. Not in the way that we have used them, these institutions. We don't need it like that. We can be more decentralized. We can make it more local. We can make it more where your community, where you feel the impact of the people around you. I mean, how often do you fucking walk around like, I don't know if you even know your neighbors anymore, you know? When I grew up, like, I felt like I knew a lot of my neighbors in my neighborhood. And I feel like it's less like that now, where you're less likely to just go out for no reason. We only go outside to what? To go to where we're going. We don't actually go outside to just enjoy outside. And, you know, sometimes, yes, you'll go out and take a walk, but it just feels like as a culture, we're not doing it. And I don't know what the cure is, man. I'm just one person. But I just know that it's something that needs to be fixed. And it's something that can be fixed. But it takes a mental revolution. We don't even need to change the laws. We don't even need to change anything. We need to change how we think as a society, as a culture. We just need to think about, well, what do we really value? Because right now, we don't value time and we don't value lives at all. Lives are expendable. Time is expendable. People are workers, and their time is worth such and such dollars an hour. Usually less than their actual life is worth. I would say most people's lives are worth way more than what they're getting paid. It's not even close. Somebody's time is worth $8.25 an hour. What? You can barely buy a fucking Happy Meal with that, dude. And that's somebody's entire hour of their life. How many hours do you get? You don't even know. You could fucking die in a car crash tomorrow. And your whole life you spent doing what? Fucking flipping burgers? It's fucking bullshit. And this shit pisses me off because I'm like, this is a collective rage that society is feeling and that is bubbling up. And I know this shit's going to fucking explode. And it's going to explode sooner than later. It really is. At this point, I don't think we are on a sustainable path to continue doing this. We are going to hit a point where we are like the Romans and we are overexpanded in our military. We are not taking care of our infrastructure. Our roads are crumbling. Our cities are falling apart. Our neighborhoods are falling apart. We're killing people. Fucking cops are shooting people in the streets. We got fucking a heroin epidemic because the pharmaceutical industry wants to sell you those, but they don't want to sell you the drugs you can't overdose on that actually will alleviate your fucking pain. Or maybe want to expand your consciousness. God forbid you want to fucking see the world in a different way, and you're not able to. And so a lot of my frustration with my own life definitely stems from this systematic problem that I am trying to escape the system. I want to break free of this system. And right now, the only solution to break free from this system without fundamentally changing the system is to just make enough money so that you don't need to worry about the system. And that's bullshit, because not everyone can make all that money. We need to find a way to make sure that the lowest people, the people at the bottom of the totem pole, are just not fucked from birth. Because how many people are we just not giving a chance in the first place that maybe could have solved a fucking problem in life? I sounded like Kermit there. Solved! You could have solved it! But like, really, dude, like, it's just, to me, it seems so fixable. It doesn't actually need, trillions of dollars of resources, really. It just needs a reallocation of them. How about we take some money away from the military, because they don't need as much as they're using. They're fucking misusing it anyway. They're creating more problems and more conflicts across the ocean. We don't need that. So if you took more money away from them and put that money towards infrastructure and schools and a healthcare system, I mean, just think about how many lives you could change by giving them affordable healthcare, by giving them, a solid school system to go to. I mean, those things don't actually need as much money as you think, and we already are making that money in taxpayer money. What we need to do is stop all of the loopholes and all the ways that basically privileged people are stealing taxpayer money through tax breaks and subsidies and all of these other things that it's like, why are we subsidizing them? They have plenty of money. They don't need to be subsidized. We should be taxing them so that way we're generating the revenue, and then we should be spending our tax money to actually benefit our citizenry and not just, keeping certain systems going, like the prison industrial complex, the military industrial complex, and the pharmaceutical industry. And don't be wrong, we need pharmaceuticals. We need certain cures to things. But what company is in the business of giving you a pill that's going to fix your shit and you never need it again? Oh, I bought one, I'm good. What company's going to do? No company's ever going to do that, dude. No company's ever going to do that. And do I trust the government to do something like that too? No, I don't. I don't really know who's going to invent cures to things because there's no incentive for cures monetarily. The only incentive for cures is for altruism, like for genuine, like we just want to fix this. And there are people out there who, if given the opportunity to make some money by doing it, they would do it. But there are so many systems in place that prevent that from happening. It's like, I just don't even know. I don't know how we solve that. And I don't know how the fuck I got on this shit. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But, at the same time, I think what I'm saying rings true. Whether I know all the facts or not, I will fully admit I don't know all the facts. But I know what makes sense to me, and it makes sense that we should fix these things. And do I have a fucking solution? Of course not. I don't have a solution. But that's not on me to figure out. It's on all of us to collectively agree on that we have a problem and to then work together, pool our minds. We got some of the smartest fucking people in the world in this country. Let's pool them all together and try to figure out what the best solution is. And fuck the legislators, fuck the government. Like, we don't need them. We don't need them. We can change things as a culture. We could fucking just start just organizations that will serve the purposes that governments are supposed to serve. We could do it. We could completely subvert the government if we wanted to. I don't know how well they'd react to that, and we might end up in a 1984 situation, but at the same time, I think it's worth trying. So I'm going to end this here because I keep rambling, and I'm going to talk about some more shit that I don't really know enough about, and I just want to end it. But this felt good. I'm glad I fucking recorded this one, and if you're dealing with depression out there, man, you're not alone. Just reach out to your friends, your family. That's been definitely a huge part for me here, is that my friends have been there for me, and they've been able to, give me the support that I needed to help me through what I'm going through. And those people are out there for you. So you just got to reach out and let them know. People can't read your mind. All right.